Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Game of Thrones Winter's Coming. In today's episode we are going to take a look at the latest update, and this update features a bunch of things, as we can see here when looking at the patch notes. We can see that there's been added a ranking border for enemy elimination in Siege of Winterfell, which won't really have any impact as far as I can see. They added a new version of the War of the Kingdom, which has protection effect, which means that you can scout great cities, reinforce great cities and so on, without losing your true status or triggering fervor. So that might be a way to actually control your losses more. We won't really cover it since we can't really get an idea of how it works, as it's not currently in the game, but it has been added in a future KVK event, which might actually be the next one. Either way, they added the display for commander weapons, related bonuses in battle reports, which is nice as well. We will take a look at that. And then there's a bunch of exchange things in terms of medals and equipment stuff and so on, to kind of cover the new things that's coming. Then of course there's been an entire revamp on the Rebuild Group system, which we'll take a look at. They have increased the levels, the difficulties, they changed the rewards, increased endurance requirements and so on and so on. So obviously we'll see how that works. Then a bunch of bug fixes, and of course as usual there are some things that have been added to the game that aren't talked about yet, but we will of course also cover that in this video. So let's jump right into it. So let's cover the major things first in this patch, which is the Rebuild Group system change, and it's fairly simple in the sense that it's been switched up now that Rebuild Groups are split into infantry type, cavalry type and spearman type. And before you start you can get the ability to get an assessment or about your combat ability on your account, which will then set a certain level for your group that you are starting at. I started at 205 and I've been working my way up to 230. And you can get a higher increased level each time you beat a level. That means then once I beat the level 230 Reaper group, I will get access to the level 231 group, and so on and so on. And these will have, of course, increasing damage difficulty, of course, in that regard. The endurance system, as you can see, is capped at 3000 now, and hitting a Rebuild leader costs 500 now, so they changed that up a bit. They have also increased the endurance recovery rate, although it feels a little bit wonky still. They might have to make some adjustments to kind of get in tune with how it was before. Overall, somewhat interesting. It at least gives people a way to kind of test their limits, I suppose, against the Rebuild leaders or Rebuild groups. And you can see that the rewards have changed to gold and badges, and you can get all types of badges as well as the equipment drop, and that's personally, in my opinion, really great and somewhat interesting at least. And you can also see down in the battle report that they displayed the weapons and which weapons are not there on the enemy side. And you can also click on the button in the middle, then you can see how the casualties are counted out, that the dragon has taken some troop attack, command awakening damage, and so on and so on. So overall, somewhat interesting if you want to look at that. Of course, keep in mind that these get more and more difficult depending on the level you have. So it's a way to also see how strong you're actually getting over time. And of course, it's split up into 3 different types, and you can always pick whatever type suits you the best and then work on that. So, but these are like the major things that have happened to the Reaper groups for now. We can now take a look at some of the other things that the update has in store for us that hasn't been mentioned. One thing that wasn't mentioned in the patch notes that has been added is a bunch of new weapons. And these weapons are somewhat interesting in certain types. Of course, the stack weapon has been already announced that it will be coming. It hasn't been added into the game yet with this patch, but we'll assume it will be coming in a short amount, I suppose. It has been already announced it will be coming, so that's interesting, of course. The Arsenal weapon has been added to the game as well. You can get it from the chest in the Fiery Mine shop, similar to the Chris and Rob weapon chest, so that's one way to get him. It of course also opens up the ability for free-to-play spheres to actually get another weapon if they want to. Overall, really cool. Aside from that, we also have the Enzo, Lutz, and Drake weapons added as well. You can see they have been set to be in an archery contest, so they will probably have a similar style as the Jamie, Sonara, Layla weapon, or the Andrea, Miranda, and I forgot who the last one is. Weapons which also are in the archery contest, where you can choose between which of the three you want to have, and then you aim for that. Of course, this also could indicate that the archery contest is probably coming back to the game soon. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes around Christmas, maybe, in line with some Christmas events. At least that's how I see it. The weapons overall are great. I would say this is probably a bigger buff towards the spear formation, since a lot of the main spear commanders used for weakness setup are getting their weapons now, and I hope that things will be evened out more, because right now you can see, if you click through the weapons, that infantry has a bunch of weapons and spears has a bunch of weapons, but cats have only 4 weapons. So I suppose that cats need some love soon too as well. So, but these are like the new things that have been added in regards to weapons. Lastly, there is of course some of the new things that are supposed to hit the server in the future as well, that we have gotten some sneak peeks or teasers about. One of the things that has been going to be added soon is the Patella Awakening. You can see he's already been added into the weakness synergy formation, so I would highly assume that he will probably be added soon as well into the game. We've already been teased around about the fact that we will get a new commander that's functioning with the weakness synergy, and a lot of people have suspected it would be either Egbert or Patello, but from the looks of it, since Patello is already added into the weakness setup here, it's probably him that's going to be the commander that's been talked about. Furthermore, we're also getting Sansa as the next commander, which is for Bowman's support, I would assume. Not entirely sure what her awakening skill will be, but she's slated to be added at the start of next month, so either she will be added into the next update or she will be released at some point during next week or something like that. Either way, probably be keeping your eyes out for that. Furthermore, we've also been given access to the replacement shop, and a bunch of things have been added there in terms of things you can do to upgrade your or change out your items, since the general Rebel group items are being reduced from 4 to 1, I believe, or something like that. Aside from that, they've also added a bunch of new items that we don't have access to in terms of be able to buying, but they have added them so that you can actually, if you had them, you can sell them, so to say. So they have been coded into the game, and these items would be indicating that maybe something is going to be added into the future in terms of equipment, or some new tiers of equipment is being added, or something like that. There's a good handful of new items from what I can see, and because of that I would assume that it's probably going to be a somewhat big item overhaul. I'm not entirely sure what they will be focusing around. It could be interesting if they throw a curveball and maybe make items that are stronger for dual setups, maybe, or stronger for singular setups, or maybe something for motivation recovery or endurance recovery or stuff like that, like stuff we don't actually have access to in the game, that can either help add more dimensions to the game or make more viable strategies in that sense. So, but these are probably slated for some point in the future. I just wanted to show them to kind of give a shout out to the fact that they have been adding new stuff without mentioning them in the patch notes, and people can check the replacement shop about where and how many there are, of course. And yeah, right now we're just waiting for the new stuff, I guess, and the new awakening stuff coming. But I hope you all like this video. Like and comment if you want to. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And if you want to play the game, then there's going to be a description or a link down in the description below as usual, as well for the Game of Thrones when it's coming Discord group. And of course, if you want to check out some other stuff on my channel, it will help me out, of course. And yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend. Take care and have fun, guys. Bye bye.